When I opened my eyes after the crash, everything had changed. I wasn't just Markiston anymore, I was trapped inside some twisted romance novel as the doomed side character. The protagonist? My wife's ex-lover. My sister-in-law? His obsessive admirer. My eldest sister-in-law? A corporate queen who'd sacrifice everything for him. And me? I was written to be the perverted villain who'd assault my wife's sisters and die in the gutter, clutching a piece of stale bread I'd scavenged from the trash. Insane? Absolutely. But if I'd awakened before the story reached its climax, maybe fate was giving me one last chance. Time to rewrite this nightmare and survive the ultimate test. Chapter 1: The Voice in My Head. Congratulations, Marcus. You've successfully awakened. The story is now yours to control. The electronic voice echoed in my skull as I bolted upright in the hospital bed, nearly choking on the apple slice in my mouth. Wait, did you just say I tried to assault my wife's sisters? And I died holding a piece of bread from the garbage? My voice cracked with disbelief. I understand this is overwhelming, the voice replied with mock sympathy, but if you don't change course immediately, everything will unfold exactly as written. A week ago, I'd been in a car accident driving home. When I woke up, I was wrapped in bandages from head to toe, and this bizarre voice had taken residence in my brain. It claimed I was the villain in some novel, destined to die while plotting against the male lead. Are you kidding me? Do I look like someone capable of scheming? I'm the most pathetic rich kid in the entire city. My parents worship my sister and barely acknowledge my existence. As my mother puts it, I'm just an accident that happened when birth control failed. My sister was groomed from birth to inherit the Chen family empire while I was expected to coast through life on family money. I'd been living the dream, racing cars, dating casually, keeping things light. Until our family business hit turbulence. My parents manipulated me into an arranged marriage with the Song family, a strategic alliance, they called it. Though Elena and I weren't madly in love, we'd found genuine companionship. Elena is the second daughter of the Song dynasty, breathtakingly beautiful. Her eldest sister Victoria controls 90% of the Song business empire, a woman who rarely smiles and radiates an aura of untouchable authority. Me, seduce her? I'd need a dozen lives to even attempt it. The Songs are the wealthiest family in the city. While most fortunes crumble within 3 generations, the Song lineage has endured for centuries, true aristocracy. Old Master Song yearns for a male heir to continue the bloodline, but this generation produced only 3 daughters. The youngest, Sophia, was meant to live a pampered life like me, since her older sisters were already exceptional. Instead, she shocked everyone by entering the entertainment industry and becoming the youngest person ever to win the Triple Crown, Academy Award, Emmy, and Golden Globe. Me, assault her? Her fanbase alone could tear me apart and scatter my remains across the ocean. The voice ignored my horror and continued its explanation. Then the hospital doors swung open. My wife entered. The doctor said you need rest. Why are you sitting up? Are you trying to make your injuries worse? Elena's voice was crisp and soothing like spring water, and I immediately wanted to lose myself in her gentle embrace. But the memory of her having me beaten and thrown out was still fresh in my mind. I scrambled to the corner and shouted, "Stay back." Chapter 2: The Confusion. Elena frowned. They said there was no brain damage. Get the doctor, now. She helped me back to bed and sent her assistant to fetch the physician. Meanwhile, she kept pressing her forehead to mine, checking for fever. The subtle scent of jasmine filled my senses, and my mind began to wander. You're still sick. What are you thinking about? Her tone was playful, and I turned away, embarrassed. Nothing. Don't read into things, I muttered. She smiled softly. Really? Some people breathe rather loudly when they're distracted. Desire clouds judgment. Before our wedding, my father had grabbed my hand and spoken earnestly, "Take care of your wife the way I care for your mother." True love is the greatest gift a man can bring to marriage. My mother is incredibly dominant. She not only demanded our family business carry her surname, but even my sister and I had to take her name. My father must have endured so much over the years. Initially, I worried, what if Elena kept a boy toy right under my nose? In our social circle, regardless of gender, money and power attract plenty of willing companions. Should I endure it? Or endure it? Or endure it? The Song family holds our survival in their hands. I couldn't be the one to destroy everything my parents and sister had built. I'd prepared myself for betrayal, but surprisingly, Elena proved remarkably faithful. Even when a group of shirtless models with perfect abs walked past, she didn't spare them a glance. If we hadn't connected so deeply in our intimate moments, I might have questioned her preferences entirely. But knowing my beloved wife would eventually kill me for the male lead, that truly stings. Mr. Chen's external injuries require only rest, the doctor reported respectfully to Elena. As for the other concerns you mentioned, would you like a psychiatrist to evaluate him? Elena waved him off. Unnecessary, she said, then began packing our belongings to take me home. The voice in my head blared again, "See? When a woman doesn't care about you, she's hiding something." I shook my head in frustration and blurted aloud, "Shut up. You're insane." Elena glanced at me and continued packing. Perfect. She definitely thinks I've lost my mind. She probably declined the psychiatrist only to save the Song family's reputation. After all, they can't have a deranged husband tarnishing their image. The voice then screamed, "Level 1 alert. The male lead is entering the scene. Host, maintain your distance." No sooner had it finished than the door opened, revealing a tall figure. "Sorry, wrong room," the man said. His voice was bright and confident, his slightly droopy eyes gleaming like a hopeful puppy's. Damn. This is where the second female lead inevitably falls for the male lead. Elena stared at him for a full 30 seconds. "Adrian," she said. "Senior," he replied. As the male lead, Adrian comes equipped with every overpowered trait imaginable. Poor background but hardworking, handsome, and brilliant enough to earn a scholarship to the best university. Elena had been drawn to his rare qualities, and their romance became legendary. Later, Adrian broke up with her ruthlessly to study abroad. This was their first encounter since the separation. If I'm not mistaken, this part of the novel was titled, Chapter 1, Homecoming. Chapter 3, The Reunion. Elena and Adrian gazed at each other with lingering emotion, completely forgetting I was lying in the hospital bed behind them. The voice chimed in, old flames reigniting, look at them pretending to be composed. Your wife's eyes are literally glowing red. The voice never stops talking, but this time it had a point. I wasn't even hurt anymore, just busy calculating how to gracefully pack myself up and return to the Chen household. I didn't want to be thrown out, end up crippled on the streets, and die clutching a piece of moldy bread I'd fished from the garbage. So, you two know each other? I said lightly. The charged atmosphere shattered. Elena snapped back to reality. Adrian is my junior from university. He just returned from overseas. This is my husband, Marcus. Adrian flashed me a bright, open smile. Pleasure to meet you. Your wife and I were very close back then. This arrogant fool. First thing he does is stake his claim right in front of me. I clenched my fists, then released them. Survival first, I can't afford to antagonize the male lead. Maybe I should leave? Give you two some space to catch up? I reached for the cane beside my bed. Elena grabbed my hand. You're a patient. Stay put. Adrian added, yeah, Mr. Chin. Senior's swamped with work, don't add to her stress. My fists clenched again. Dad, I've met the male seductress you warned me about. I glared at Adrian. According to The Voice's storyline, he should currently be entangled with Sophia, the third female lead. The two sisters were supposed to fight over him while he manipulated both, and also captivated the main heroine, Victoria. Driven by jealousy and rage, I was written to oppose him constantly, eventually becoming so unhinged that I'd attempt to assault Victoria and Sophia. Naturally, I'd meet a brutal end, because my character is literally just a mindless villain. Meanwhile, Adrian, protected by the Song sisters, would dodge every attack I launched and end up with the girl, blessed with Elena's heartfelt approval. The author must really despise me, couldn't even grant me a dignified death. I racked my brain for a solution and suddenly found it. Elena is the one who eventually discards me. So if I don't harm the male lead and ensure Elena doesn't hate me, maybe I can survive. Seeing how reluctant she looked apart from him, I spoke up loudly, it's wonderful to reunite with an old friend. Adrian, if you don't mind, why don't you join us for dinner tonight? Elena, that's all the help I can offer you. At the family dinner, everyone was all smiles. Elena and Adrian chatted about their college days, the entire mansion ringing with laughter, and I felt like a forgotten ghost. Frustration bubbled inside me, and the voice piped up again, see that fat orange cat on the table? Even if you meow just as loudly and desperately, you'll never be part of this story. I couldn't help but roll my eyes, only to be caught by Adrian. He smiled innocently. Sorry, Mr. Chin. Senior and I were just reminiscing. We completely forgot you were here. Wow. This is my house. Where exactly should I be, under the car? Elena shot me a cold look but only said mildly, if you're bored, perhaps take a walk in the garden. A clear dismissal. Any later would be rude. Just as I stood, the maid's voice rang out, Third miss, you're here. Second miss is entertaining guests at the moment. Adrian stiffened slightly, and the voice practically squealed with excitement, here we go. The first official love triangle showdown is about to begin. Chapter 4, The Collision. With a forced smile, I welcomed Sophia into the house. The moment she entered, her eyes locked onto Adrian, sparks flew, chemistry exploded. The previously lively mansion fell silent. As the side character, it was my duty to advance the plot. So, Sophia, you know Adrian too? I asked. Yes, she said. At the same time, Adrian replied, no, then added, Mr. Chin, please just call me Adrian. I rubbed my forehead with a wry smile. Sophia, seriously. Turns out they were fighting. Sophia had sent someone to track Adrian and discovered he was at my place. Seeing him happily chatting with Elena had triggered her jealousy. Adrian, come here, Sophia said in a low, commanding tone. But Adrian stiffened his neck and refused to move. Sophia frowned. How many times must I explain? I have nothing with that guy, he's the one creating false dating rumors. She took a step forward, and Adrian's lips tightened. He seemed slightly swayed. Just then, the TV in the room began playing entertainment news. Recently, media revealed a romantic scandal between A-list actress Sophia and rising star Michael. The two were spotted passionately kissing on London streets, sparking widespread envy. Veins bulged on Adrian's forehead, his eyes and nose turning red. He shouted, That's your idea of nothing? You two look like the perfect celebrity couple while I'm just some cosmic joke. As the atmosphere grew increasingly tense, I panicked, trying to think of a way to defuse the situation. I ended up spinning in circles. Crash. Senior, watch out! Adrian shouted. A loud bang followed by the sound of glass shattering. Debris flew everywhere, but Adrian had already thrown himself in front of Elena to shield her. Damn, my 200-inch OLED TV. Sophia stood there holding half a shattered wine bottle, radiating pure aggression. With a chilling smile, she gritted her teeth and said, "Brother-in-law, looks like it's time you upgraded that TV." Adrian glared at her. Senior didn't do anything to you, what the hell are you going off about in someone else's house? As expected of the male lead. Sophia, after all, is infamous for being a spoiled rich brat. I've always been too intimidated to confront her, but Adrian dives right in. Sophia snapped, "Going off? Do you really not know who I'm going off for? Come with me right now, or don't blame me for what happens next." She was furious and reached out to drag Adrian away. Elena stepped in firmly. "Sophia, you need to calm down first." Sophia raised an eyebrow coolly. "And what position are you in to tell me that? His ex-girlfriend? I don't know if it was my imagination, but I swear Elena glanced at me after hearing that." Adrian looked pale and turned to Elena. "Senior and our ancient history. We're just old friends catching up. Is this really necessary?" Sophia scoffed. "Wow. I should give you an award for best ex-boyfriend. Even years after the breakup, you're still rushing to protect your ex in a crisis." A full-blown drama scene. I felt a chill rise from my feet and quickly called the maid to clean up the mess. The maid gasped when she saw Adrian. "Mr. Ito, your hand is bleeding." I gave her a side-eye and muttered inwardly, "So dramatic. One day I really am going to fire you." A shard from the broken TV had cut Adrian's arm. Blood was flowing freely. Elena and Sophia shouted in unison, "What happened?" Their eyes were full of concern. I clicked my tongue and turned to leave, but then felt a sharp pain in my back. I reached around and felt something sticky on my palm. Just before I blacked out, I think I saw Elena drop everything and run toward me, leaving Adrian behind. All right. If this is a hallucination, I'd rather stay in it a little longer. Chapter 5, The Test. Back in that all-too-familiar VIP hospital room, the young nurse joked that I might as well get a membership card. Bitterness welled up in my chest. I hadn't even started causing trouble yet, and I was already getting injured this frequently. If this continues, I might actually die. When I woke up, Elena wasn't there. Well, of course, she must have gone to check on Adrian. But then why was Sophia sitting at my bedside, head down, peeling an apple? "Sorry, brother-in-law. I got you hurt," she said. Well, now I've seen everything. The little hellion herself was apologizing to me. She was sitting uncomfortably close, and I instinctively leaned back. "It's fine," I said. "You've always been someone who speaks her mind." She handed me the apple, which looked like it had been gnawed by a wild animal, and asked, "What do you think about my second sister and Adrian?" Ah. So this was a test. Sophia, the tragic second female lead beloved by many readers, temperamental on the surface but hopelessly in love with Adrian underneath. According to the novel's plot, she now suspects that Adrian and my wife are rekindling old flames. After seeing him injured, she's even more heartbroken. She'll soon try to throw money at me to get me to leave Elena and grant the former lovers their happiness. I know exactly how Sophia operates. In her world, I'm nothing but a bug. If you leave my sister, I'll give you a substantial sum and get you out of the city. Don't worry about your Chin family business, I'll make sure it's well taken care of. I glanced at the empty doorway. A memory suddenly floated up, our wedding night. I'd been pretty drunk after partying with my useless friends. When I stumbled into the bedroom, Elena was already in her pajamas, reclining on the couch. When she stood and handed me a bowl of hangover soup, her shawl slipped, revealing her stunning figure. Her skin was like porcelain, smooth and luminous. That was the moment I finally understood what like jade, like snow really meant. Elena's always been good to me. Everyone else laughs and calls me a spineless kept husband, but only she would rest her head on my shoulder and whisper, "They don't know how wonderful you are." But I do. But I also know, if she'd married someone else, she'd probably treat him just as well. Adrian is the only one who truly lives in her heart. Sophia seemed to be losing patience. She raised a slender finger. 100 million. That should be enough for you to live comfortably forever. If I walk away now, not only do I survive, I also walk away wealthy. Just imagining being crippled and dumped on the street by Elena's people, dying while holding a garbage-picked piece of bread, made my stomach turn. I reached out and grasped Sophia's finger. Deal. She raised an eyebrow. So eager to leave my sister? This was her cue for me to deliver some grand convincing speech. You know, it's just a business marriage between me and your sister. We've been putting on a show for years. I've had enough of being a gutless kept husband. Whoever wants this life can have it. You handle my family, I'll take your money and disappear, that's what real living is. Sophia nodded, clearly satisfied. I let out a long sigh of relief. Finally, I'd passed the test. But then an angry voice came from the doorway. "So you've been wanting to leave me all along? Can someone tell me why the doorway, which was empty a second ago, was now packed with people?" Familiar faces, no less. Elena, my dad, my mom, and my sister. One look at their dark, devastated expressions, and I knew they'd heard every word. I tried to get up and explain but tugged at the wound on my back and collapsed clumsily back onto the bed. Elena slammed a lunchbox onto the table and stared at me coldly. Divorce? Not a chance. My dad rushed to my side, hands on his hips, and roared, "You idiot. Looks like it's not your back that's injured, it's your brain. Elena went out of her way to bring us here to see you and even made soup for you herself. And this is how you repay her?" I opened my mouth, but no words came out. Sophia had already used "I need to use the restroom" as an excuse to escape. I gave up and pulled the blanket over my head, not wanting to hear another word of their nonsense. My mom kept apologizing to Elena. "I'm so sorry, Elena. It's all my fault for not raising him right. Please don't take it to heart." My sister was even more direct. She slapped me through the blanket. "Sister-in-law, if this punk ever acts up again, just let me know. I've got 100 ways to straighten him out." Frustration and humiliation surged in my chest. I married into the Song family for the sake of the Chen family, willingly becoming a live-in husband. And now, with death potentially on the horizon, not a single family member feels sorry for me, they're siding with outsiders to scold me. In the original storyline, after Elena kicked me out, she coldly declared, "Anyone who shelters him is an enemy of Song Corporation." So even when I knelt at the gates of the Chen house, no one let me in. I was nothing but a tool, spineless all my life. Now I just want to live for myself. I threw off the blanket and shouted, "You've never once treated me like family. All you care about is the Chen family's interests, you don't even see me as human. You married me off to the Song family like I was a bargaining chip, into a den of wolves. Do you have any idea how terrified I am every single day, just trying not to get killed by accident? I want a divorce." Chapter 6, The Breaking Point. After I let it all out, the room went dead silent. Everyone looked at me in shock. Even Elena's usual graceful composure seemed to crack. Her lips parted slightly as she slowly walked toward me. Marcus, you. I raised a hand to stop whatever she was about to say. Don't. I don't want to hear it. I just want to be alone. Struggling, I got out of bed and, under everyone's gaze, shuffled out of the hospital room. The streets were crowded and busy. I had no idea how long I wandered. Thankfully, the real world doesn't have an audience. No one cared that I was stumbling down the road in hospital clothes, looking like a mess. A limited edition sports car screeched to a halt in front of me. A shifty-looking guy stuck his head out the window. Marcus, you're trending online. Some scummy paparazzi must have followed me and live-streamed the whole thing. The headline read, Song Corporation's kept husband seen acting out late at night, twisted human nature or moral collapse? My party animal buddy Jake saw the live stream and came all the way over just to laugh at me. I told him everything that had happened, well, minus the whole voice in my head thing. He waved his hand grandly. Come on. Crash at my place. Tomorrow night, we've got the ultimate pool party. The last time I went to a party felt like a lifetime ago. If the Somm sisters are ready to fight to the death over Adrian, then maybe I should start living my own carefree life too. Chapter 7, The Party. At the Rodriguez family villa, the night was drenched in neon lights, booming music, and a blur of dancing bodies. Countless young men and women reveled in the chaos. I, however, felt entirely out of place, sitting quietly by the pool, sipping my drink in silence. Jake strolled over with a starlet clinging to each arm, twin sisters, both rising faces in the industry. You're no fun, man. Sitting here brooding while the whole place is lit. These two say they admire you. According to the novel's plot, this is the moment where I should hook up with one of the girls, ride the wave of lust and drama, only to be caught by Elena, leading to our final fallout. I looked up. The two women were wearing barely their bikinis, their figures perfectly sculpted. But all I could think was, still nowhere near Elena. Young Master Chen, one of them purred, we've heard so much about you. Would we be lucky enough to become your friends? The entertainment industry was getting more cutthroat by the day. Lots of young actresses dreamed of marrying into wealth. Their favorite type? Men like me, no real power but married to a rich woman. In other words, easy to manipulate and loaded. I subtly leaned away from their intentionally close bodies, the smell of their heavy perfume making me dizzy. Jake saw I wasn't interested and waved them off. After they left, he plopped down next to me. Elena's already moved on. You still trying to be faithful? Come on, man, when life gives you a break, take it. Stop acting like a monk and enjoy yourself. I let out a long sigh and kept drinking. But then Jake suddenly lit up like he had an idea. He jumped to his feet. I get it now. You like the cool, unattainable types, like Elena. Just wait. 10 minutes later, he returned, trailing behind a group of women. He popped open a bottle of champagne and shouted, "Whoever takes care of my bro tonight, leading lady in my next film is yours." I never realized just how physically strong women could be. Before I could react, I was swarmed. Lipstick kisses landed on my face, and one woman even tried to pull down my pants. It was completely insane. Eventually, they just picked me up and tossed me straight into the pool. Floating half-drowning, I spotted a familiar face at the edge of the water. Adrian stood there watching me the whole time. When I scrambled out, dripping wet, he handed me a towel. Carrying on like this. Do you think you're being fair to Senior? That did it, I saw red. I grabbed his collar and snapped, and you think seducing a married woman is fair to your conscience? His face darkened. There's nothing going on between Senior and me. Insult me all you want, but don't insult her. Jake gritted his teeth. So you're the pretty boy, huh? Just tell me how you want to be humiliated, I'll deliver. He kicked Adrian in the backside, grinning wickedly. It was getting out of hand. I reached out to pull Adrian away, but then a voice barked my name from behind, full of fury. Marcus! Haven't you made a big enough scene already? Chapter 8: The Confrontation. Elena stared at me, furious. Adrian, seeing his savior, practically crawled over to her, whining. Senior, I was just trying to remind Mr. Chen to behave himself, and he let someone kick me. Jake shot me a reassuring look, his face full of arrogance and confidence. Yeah, I kicked you. Got a problem with that? My heart warmed. A real bro, ride or die. Elena stepped in front of Adrian to shield him. Her phoenix eyes narrowed slightly. Yen Master Rodriguez, your family's deal for that suburban land still hasn't gone through, right? I'd be happy to raise the price tenfold. If your father finds out it was all because of you, do you think he'll send you to South Africa to dig diamonds? If Jake got exiled to Africa just for standing up for me, I'd never forgive myself. Suddenly I heard a plop. What just flew past me? Jake was down on one knee, hugging Elena's leg. Second miss, I was wrong. Please spare this humble servant. Rubbing my pounding temples, I forced myself upright. If you've got a problem, take it out on me. Leave my brother out of this. Elena walked toward me slowly, her aura so intense I unconsciously backed away. She pulled out a tissue and started furiously wiping my face. Bet it felt great being surrounded by all those women, huh? Your face is covered in lipstick. Embarrassed, I lowered my head and pretended I didn't hear. Then she barked, "Pull your pants up." I frantically checked my waistband and stammered, "Let me explain." Halfway through the sentence, it hit me, wait a minute. I'm the one who wants a divorce. Why is she still ordering me around like I'm her property? Most of the crowd here were the elites of the city. If this story got out, the whole world would know that the Chen family's second son is a pathetic kept husband. I'd never live it down. Fueled by indignation, I stiffened my neck and declared, "Those girls? Not even a toe of theirs is inferior to you." To sell the scene, I grabbed the nearest woman and pulled her into my arms. She's the one I really love. The surrounding crowd audibly gasped. The woman in my arms stiffened. I looked down and almost had a heart attack. Sophia. The voice's smug tone chimed in, "Congratulations, host, on completing the death-seeking task, attempted seduction of the sister-in-law." Sophia glared at me and slapped me hard. Through gritted teeth, she spat, "You've got a death wish." Adrian immediately wrapped his arms around her protectively and barked at me, "Trying to get with your own sister-in-law? You disgusting two-faced pervert. I won't let you get away with this." I sneaked a glance at Elena. Her expression was one I'd never seen before. 70% fury, 20% shock, and maybe 10% hurt? Jake was still on his knees. In a spot no one could see, he gave me a thumbs up and mouthed, "Legendary." Adrian took off his coat and draped it over Sophia's shoulders, all while continuing to curse me out like a righteous saint. I had a sinking feeling, like my ending as a cast-out, penniless street rat was now just inches away. I muttered to the voice, "Voice, do you have any cheats? Like rewinding time?" The voice replied, "Sorry, host. My sole function is to remind you that you're a scummy supporting character. No extra perks included." I noticed Adrian inching closer to the pool, and a crazy thought popped into my head. If the male lead dies, wouldn't all of this fall apart too? No more thinking, just doing. I charged at Adrian like a madman, trying to shove him into the pool. I'd had enough of fate jerking me around. If I'm going down, I'm taking someone with me. Just as my hand gripped his collar, some bastard tripped me. My calf cramped mid-step, and I tumbled straight into the pool. The chlorinated water surged into my mouth and nose. One thought echoed in my mind, damn. I'm so screwed. Chapter 9, The Awakening. In a daze, I felt someone pressing hard against my chest, with quiet sobbing echoing beside my ears. I tried to open my eyes, but everything was a blur. Then something cold and soft touched my lips, blowing air into me again and again. The voice chimed in cheerfully, "Congratulations, host, on completing the death mission, failed attempt to eliminate the male lead." A violent coughing fit brought me back to consciousness. Elena's face loomed pale as a ghost, glaring at me. She must be furious, her face was white with rage. Adrian was sobbing like a child beside us. "Marcus, you betrayed Senior, harassed Sophia, and now you tried to kill me. Calling you a beast would be an insult to animals." I collapsed limply to the ground, face ashen. Elena's eyes bore into me as if trying to see through my very soul. She dismissed everyone else. Now it was just the two of us by the vast, empty pool. She must truly hate me for shaming the Song family, probably dragged me here alone to settle the score. Chances are I wouldn't even live long enough to crawl to the trash for a final piece of bread. I'd be executed on the spot. My thoughts churned in panic. I wondered if years of our marriage could at least buy me a respectable death. Elena pinned me against the wall. I shielded my face with my hands and muttered, "Please, not the face." She was silent for a long moment, then suddenly laughed, a sharp, chilling laugh that cut through the night like a blade. That was way scarier. I bent down, brought my face close to hers, shut my eyes, and braced myself like a martyr. "Fine, fine, it was my fault for hurting your beloved Adrian. If you want to hit me, just do it. Can't you let me keep a shred of dignity? When I die, at least send me back to the Chin family. I know I can't carry on the bloodline, but at the very least, I can add some ashes to the ancestral shrine. Call it closure for our years of marriage, please, I'm begging you." But instead of the slap I expected, something warm brushed my lips. It felt just like that moment of breath during resuscitation earlier. I opened my eyes. Elena had risen on tiptoe, arms wrapped around my neck, and was kissing me with fierce determination. My heart skipped, and I abandoned all resistance, pulling her closer as if I could melt her into my bones. If I have to die beneath a peony in full bloom, well, what a glorious way to go. Only when my lips went numb did she finally let go. With a soft sigh, her lips parted. Her voice was sweet yet helpless. "You really got me this time." Chapter 10, The Truth. "So you only sponsored Adrian back in college? You two were never actually together?" I handed a cup of hot tea to Elena, stunned. She chuckled softly. "That's right. Don't believe me? Ask him." Adrian stood nearby, still rubbing his sore butt, his smile strained. "I swear, there's nothing improper between Senior and me. I asked her to pretend with me, to put on a show for Sophia. There are way too many guys buzzing around Sophia. I just wanted her to get jealous and take me seriously. I once helped Senior with something, so this time she was repaying the favor, even at the cost of her reputation. Senior also wanted to see if she had a place in your heart. It was mutual support, that's all." I was screaming internally for the voice, desperate to understand what the hell was going on. But the usually noisy voice was suddenly dead silent, as if it had been poison mute. Elena stroked my hair gently and whispered, "What's running through that head of yours? You still don't believe me?" Being patted on the head as a grown man should be humiliating, but damn it, it actually felt kind of nice.